Hello Tokusatsu community and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today is going to be a Q&A video to celebrate 6,000 subscribers on the channel, which it's actually about to hit 6,100. Because it's taken me a little bit to get around to being able to do this video. But basically a couple weeks ago, the channel was getting pretty close to 6K. So I sent out a community post asking for some questions that I could answer in a Q&A video once the channel hit 6K, and it hit 6K, so I cannot thank you all enough for the continued support on the channel. I never thought we would hit 5K, let alone 6K or even 1K, and honestly, I'm just blown away by the support that the channel always receives. And let's answer some of your guys' questions. So we had a post like 2 or 3 weeks ago or whatever, 2 weeks ago. That was kind of the first batch of questions, and then I sent out another post asking for like another batch of questions. So I'm going to answer every question here today, and let's go ahead and do it. What are some of your favorite PR seasons, and who are some of your favorite figures from the line so far, whether released or not? So some of my favorite Power Ranger seasons, there's a lot to pick from here. My favorite season so far, like by far, is Dino Thunder. I really like Power Rangers Dino Thunder. It's just, I don't know, I think it's such a fun season. I love the characters from the show, the suits. I really like Tommy's role in that show and everything. But like some of my other top favorite seasons, I think my second favorite season is RPM. I really like that season as well. Pretty much kind of for like the same reasons as Dino Thunder, but I just like its setting. I like the whole Venjix everything. I just think it's a really cool, interesting direction that Power Rangers never really went before. And so like those are my top 2 favorite seasons. I also really like SPD. Samurai Megaforce seasons I quite enjoy, but that's because those were my very first seasons. So to me they're like my Mighty Morphin. So like they mean a lot to me in that regard, and so I acknowledge that there's so many more better seasons than them in my opinion, but I do think they're just something special. And then of course, as for like figures revealed in the line so far released, that I'm assuming you're talking about the Lightning Collection. Dino Thunder White is my favorite figure in the line so far, but only if you factor in the corrected helmet. Beforehand, it's a horrible figure. You really need the replacement helmet on that front. But besides that, some of my other favorite figures so far in the line, Armored Black. Really like that one. I just like the way that the shield looks on Zack there. Some of my other favorites include the SPD Blue 2-pack. It's just one that I didn't think we were going to get any kind of release like that, let alone A-Squad, but I just think that's a really cool one. You get some really awesome accessories with that one. A couple of my other favorites, I really enjoy the Metallic Ranger, the pink one. Any of them, I think, but for some reason, even though I thought it was kind of a dumb release at first, over time I really grew to like it. So yeah, those are just some of my all-time favorite figures and seasons. So yeah. Do I collect anything besides Power Rangers and Kamen Rider stuff? Not really. So like, my main things are like, Sentai, Rider, Power Rangers. Besides that, I pick up a couple other random things from like non-Power Ranger things every once in a while. But it's kind of few and far between. I'd say maybe Star Wars is like a slight, and I'm talking like real slight collecting thing for me. I've always enjoyed Star Wars, but I really got into Star Wars a little bit more with The Mandalorian. So I have a couple Mandalorian Black Series figures. I have the Razor Crest Lego set, stuff like that. So Star Wars is like a very minor thing, but I used to collect Funko Pops a lot, but those were mainly for like Marvel stuff. I got like Power Ranger ones and everything like that, but I really kind of got out of that game. I was really deep into that though. I have literally a couple, like at least a little over 100 Funko Pops, but I've kind of slowly gotten out of that. I don't know, couldn't keep up with it. Why do I hate Ranger Keys so much, and why is Gokaiger your least favorite Toku? I love Ranger Keys. I love Gokaiger. I hate what they do for my wallet, but I love both of them very dearly. Least favorite Sentai, Rider, Ultraman, and why those seasons? That's a good one. My least favorite Power Ranger season? Ninja Steel? Definitely. I really don't like Ninja Steel or Super Ninja Steel. They're some of the only seasons I just could not get through all the way. Granted, I need to give them a second chance, but no, not a fan of those. For Rider, as the seasons I've seen, which is, I've seen a pretty good amount ever since I started back with Gaim. My least favorite of those so far has been either Ghost or Saber. I'm not a fan of either one of those. I think I might like Saber more than Ghost. I'm not 100% sure. I need to revisit Ghost and stuff like that. I haven't watched Ghost since it aired. Ultraman wise, I've never finished an Ultraman series. I've started a bunch of them. But of the ones that I've started, I didn't care for Ginga so much. Let's see, what else? Trigger's been okay. It's not like a least favorite or anything like that. It might be my least... No, Ginga's my least favorite of the ones I've started. But because I really like Jeed. I need to watch Orb. Yeah. So I guess Ginga on that one. But yeah, so I guess what? Ginga, Ghost, and Ninja Steel. What are my thoughts on the Super 7 PR line? Are you collecting them? So both the Super 7's lines I think look pretty interesting. Their reactions and their ultimates. I'm not collecting either of them. I think both of their lines are very overpriced. However, I get it. I get it on the ultimate side. I still think reactions are way too expensive for what they are. I have seen some Targets and such clearance them every once in a while, so if I could ever get like the Red Ranger one or something for like $5, $10 even, maybe I would consider it. So I think the reactions look neat. I do like that size class of figure. I definitely do like that style of figure, the kind of Kenner 3.75 inch style. I do think that those look pretty nice. It's just for $18, no, I just think that's way too much. Their ultimates though, look pretty incredible on the accessories end of things. I'm not super enthusiastic about the Ranger designs on them. The Goldar looks pretty good, but I'm Goldar'd out with the Lightning Collection. And the T-Rex Zord looks pretty neat as well. But really their accessories really did blow me away. I'm pretty impressed with everything that they threw into all those figures, especially like, you know, the putty, for example, being able to make it into the Z putty and everything like that. I really do think that the ultimates look very nice, but for $55, which, I mean, you're getting a lot, I don't think that it's not worth that price. It's just a price that I definitely really can't fork over for those. I mean, especially something like a putty. I would want to have multiple putties, and I can't ever see myself spending like multiple hundreds of dollars trying to get multiple putties or anything like that. I'm a big fan of the Red Ranger design, like the original Red Ranger. From Mighty Morphin Design, I kind of had like a mini collection of stuff for him. So if, you know, whenever they reveal the ultimate for Red, which I'm sure is going to happen at some point, I might consider it, but for the most part, I'm not going to collect either one of their lines, but they do look pretty nice. And like I said, I might pick up a reaction one day or something like that, but ultimates, probably not. What is my dream Lightning Collection 2-pack? Theirs is Ninja Storm Thunder Rangers or a red and purple Wolf Warrior. So I have a couple options for like a dream Lightning Collection 2-pack. So there's like my dream ones in terms of like characters I really want to see, and there's like my dream ones of like ones that I think make a lot of sense. One 2-pack that I would really like to see, which I would say is my dream 2-pack, is a Sidarso Brothers 2-pack of Dino Charge Blue and Ninja Steel Blue. I just think that one would be really cool, not only because, you know, the Sidarso Brothers I think are pretty neat, just fun, you know, actors in the Power Rangers community, but also like those characters did appear on screen together during Super Ninja Steel, so it's not like it's completely like unwarranted or anything like that. Hasbro could get another use out of that Dino Charge body. You would introduce the Ninja Steel body with that if they wanted to do it that way, which I think is probably one of the only reasons why we don't have a 2-pack like that yet. But also, I just think it'd be fun. You know, just to have the brothers in a 2-pack together, and the fact that there actually is something on screen to represent that they could, you know, make the 2-pack be a reference to, other than just them being brothers, makes it, I think, a perfect candidate for a 2-pack. So it's definitely my dream one. Do I have a favorite Ranger color? For example, I love Rangers of all colors, but Green Rangers hold a special place in my heart. I would gladly buy any Green Ranger figure Hasbro puts in the Lightning Collection, and I am hoping to see Green Ranger helmets from multiple seasons to get as roleplay items. So I do have a favorite Ranger color, and that is Silver Rangers. I'm a very big fan of Silver Rangers. Pretty much all of the Silver Ranger suits I really like, and I would really like to see Lightning Collection do some Silver Rangers. We have Psycho Silver on the way. We know we're going to be getting in Space Silver, but I would love to see other Silver Rangers. You know, give me Lunar Wolf Ranger, Super Mega Force Silver, Dino Charge Silver is one of my all-time favorite Toku suits. I would love to have a figure of that. We need Beast Morpher Silver to help complete the team alongside Zoe. There's a lot of really cool Silver Ranger suit designs out there I would love to see, and that is by far my favorite color. So, you know, I love suits that we've gotten recently, like Pure Make Silver from Sentai and such like that. So, yeah, give me more Silver Rangers. Is there any figure slash helmet slash roleplay item you would not like to see added to the Lightning Collection? Not really, no. I can't think of anything that I would see that would be like, oh, why would they do that? Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't have a good answer for that. Basically, the problem with me is that since I'm a completionist with the Lightning Collection, anything they throw in front of my face, I'm going to purchase. So it's not like it really doesn't matter, you know, if there's something that I really don't want. Unless it's like, I guess, completely unreasonable in price, but I can't think of something that I don't want them to do helmet-wise, or don't want them to do figure or morpher-wise or something. I would like to see them, within reason, do more roleplay items. I don't think we really have a lot or enough. I don't think they've really tapped into the potential of that yet, but due to the fact that the roleplay items are the most expensive items, I'm also kind of okay with that, because I would rather buy more figures than roleplay. So yeah, I mean, I hope that we kind of get some more roleplay stuff, but I really can't think of anything that is something I don't want to see. Do I think Lightspeed Rescue could be added to the Lightning Collection before 2023? Also, what are your thoughts on Lightspeed? It's my favorite, and I feel it's underrated for being the first one outside of the Zordon era. So yeah, I totally think that Lightspeed Rescue could come to the Lightning Collection before 2023. I don't really see why it couldn't. I mean, I think that once we kind of continue to wrap up some teams here, you know, we finished ZO, we're about to finish in space, you know, stuff like that. Maybe once we finish more teams like Lost Galaxy or something, we can start introducing more teams, and I would not be opposed against Lightspeed Rescue joining that, one of those empty slots. So I like Lightspeed. I've only ever seen the entire series once, and that was back in 2019 when I was in the middle of my Josh PR rewatch thing, which I'm still in the middle of right now, but back in 2019, that was my first time watching all of Lightspeed, and I enjoyed it pretty well. It's not one of my all-time favorite seasons by far. It's definitely not one of my least favorite seasons. I thought it was decently solid. I like the characters from it. There's certain things about it that I really like Titanium Ranger, and just the fact that we made an American exclusive Ranger that wasn't in the Sentai footage, I think was just a really cool idea, and something I wish we would have done more often than just like Lightspeed and Jungle Fury and some of the other random times we did it. So yeah, I mean, I would love to see any Lightspeed Ranger. I keep jumping from Lightspeed to Lightning. I'd love to see any Lightspeed Ranger join the Lightning Collection. Specifically, I'd love to see Ryan. I'd love to get Titanium. Carter is a big fan favorite, and we'll continue our Forever Red display that we're halfway done with. So yeah, I'd love to see it in the next 2 years. I'd love to see it sooner than that, and hopefully we get it, sooner rather than later. What new team do you wish they would start doing for the Lightning Collection? RPM. I would really like to see RPM. Any of them, I think, would be a perfect choice to, introduce as a new team once we kind of wrap up some other ones. I would also really like to start seeing the Solar Rangers. We have most of the Beyond the Grid team in the Lightning Collection already, so we're already pretty close on that front, and I'd love to see them in their Solar Ranger forms, or at least the, kind of the Rangers that are just Solar Rangers, the orange and the purple ones. I'd love to see that one, but any of those Solar Ranger designs would be awesome. RPM would be great. Samurai would be really cool. Samurai is my very first season, as I mentioned, so I just love those suits so much, and while I have plenty of figures of them already, I would like to see them in the Lightning Collection. Really any team. I mean, I want to see every team join the line eventually, get released somehow, but I think that any of those choices would be a really cool one to see join, as soon as possible. Thoughts of what's next for Hasbro if they're really done with Toei? Will they just circle back to MMPR, or attempt to make an actual non-Sentai Ranger team? As unfortunate as it is, I definitely guarantee that they will just continue to do MMPR forever. That is what they consider their evergreen version of Power Rangers. So just like how Transformers, every version of Transformers will have Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, every version of Power Rangers that would be a Hasbro original version will have something Mighty Morphin related, whether or not it's just a full-on modern version of MMPR or some other character from MMPR or something. MMPR will be here forever, and will always be the default version of Power Rangers that they go back to. I am one of those people who firmly believe the Toei split is legitimate and actually happening. I think there's just a lot of evidence to back that up, and also sites like the Illuminati are usually pretty accurate with things like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like that decision for Hasbro. I would really like Hasbro to tap into the more than 25-year legacy of, like, you know, the whole franchise, which I think seasons like Dino Fury are doing a pretty decent job of, like, actually bringing things back from the previous seasons and things like that, building upon. The Boom Studios comics have been doing a phenomenal job of doing that for the last, like, 5 years. So I think that I would prefer they would focus on things like that, rather than, you know, I don't care if we do Toei, you know, if there's any relationship with them anymore. I don't care if we adapt Sentai. I would like for us to continue to adapt Sentai. I would love to see what we would do with Q Ranger, what we would do with Cure Major, you know, any of it. So I would like everything to just remain the same, but as it's kind of likely not the case anymore, I would hope that they wouldn't just do MMPR forever, but I know that that's probably what they're going to do. What Power Rangers main villains are your top 5 favorites? So I don't know if I have like a specific ranking of my top 5, but my top 5, which in no certain order, would be Venjix, I guess, slash Evox. Let's see, who else? Mesagog would definitely be in there as well. Lothor would be in there. Let's see, who else? Vrock from Megaforce. Not by his character. His character is not that amazing. His suit. I love Vrock's suit. It's one of my all-time favorite monster suits in all of Tokusatsu. So that would be in there just because of that. Who else would be up there for me? Oh, Rancic. I have to include Rancic, of course. Love Rancic a lot. So that's 4. So what's the 5th one? How about Rito? I really like Rito a lot. I think he's a fun character. Someone I would love to see a Lightning Collection figure of. I'm kind of surprised we don't already have one of him. I kind of feel like he's probably one of the ones we'll get relatively soon. You know, just to kind of continue the, you know, the big bads of MMPR. So I think that would be fun. But yeah, I guess those 5 would be my choices. Where do you see yourself and your collection in 10 years? I don't know. 10 years is a long time. 10 years ago was when I started watching Power Rangers. So where it is right now is how long it took for it to get in 10 years. So I guess in 10 years I would expect it to be at least double of this, maybe. I don't know. This is not even a fraction of it. There's so much of it you can't even see. But yeah, I think in 10 years, well, let's see, right now I'm 20 years old. So in 10 years I'll be 30 years old. So I would imagine that I will have my own place at that point. So I also would imagine that I would have gone back and got a lot of the stuff that I've always wanted from my collection. I would imagine the Lightning Collection would be over by then. I don't think the Lightning Collection is going to last another 10 years, as much as I would love it to. I mean, hey, Marvel Legends has lasted, what, like almost 20 years? So I'd love to see Hasbro make the Lightning Collection last that long, but, you know, who knows? So I would hope that that's still existing. I would hope that I still have all of it. But yeah, I mean, pretty much I like to just continue to see my collection grow the way it is and just keep getting bigger and bigger, and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I'm still doing, I'd love to still be doing videos on the channel here. If, you know, who even knows how, we're at 6,000 subscribers right now, who knows what we'll be in 10 years if I'm still doing this in 10 years. But yeah, a lot could change, Do you get SH Figure Arts? And Marvel, talk about Marvel. So I do not get SH Figure Arts pretty much ever. I do actually have a couple, but they've all been gifts actually. I never actually like went out and bought one on my own. A couple years ago, I got for Christmas that San Diego Comic-Con Super Samurai set, the metallic Ranger set that came with the Super Red and the rest of the other 4 in the kind of metallic color scheme. So I have the figure arts for the Shinkengers like that, so that's pretty cool. About a year ago or so, I think, my girlfriend got me the SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Ichigo, one of the other color versions of them. I don't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but there's going to be a picture on the screen. So besides those 6, I don't have any other figure arts. I just think that they're very, very expensive and very fragile for how much they cost. But they do look pretty good. There's a couple that have tempted me, like Aqua Ranger. I've always kind of wanted that one, but then again, I've just wanted a figure of him. I don't really care if it's a figure art or not. And then you said, what about Marvel? Talk about Marvel. I love Marvel. In terms of like my favorite, you know, entertainment fandom things, Tokusatsu is definitely number 1, which includes like Power Rangers, Rider, Sentai, Ultraman, all that stuff. And then the MCU is right below it. So I love the MCU so much, I could probably do a whole YouTube channel on just the MCU. And more recently, I have started, I'm dipping my foot in the water here, of getting a couple Marvel Legends figures. I'm not trying to go crazy on this. I cannot let this go crazy, but I did just get this in the mail the other day. The Infinity Saga, Thanos, and Iron Man Endgame 2-pack. This thing is pretty cool, not gonna lie. I have a couple other figures. I have the Stan Lee Marvel Legends figure. I have the Nighthawk figure from the Thanos Build-A-Figure wave because I wanted to give this one a non-gauntlet arm. I have the gauntlets. I have those Marvel Legends gauntlets that they released, all of them. I have, what else do I have? I have the Captain America Marvel Legends figure from the Endgame set because I wanted to get like the whole trio of the big three and everything. But yeah, I love the MCU. I love Marvel a lot. And like I said, it's definitely something like, if I wasn't talking about Toku stuff, I would definitely be talking about Marvel stuff. What Sentai do you want to see adapted into the 30th anniversary for Power Rangers, and will I do an updated collection tour? So there's a lot of Sentai that we can choose from that could be adapted into the 30th anniversary if we are still doing that after Dino Fury. But yeah, I mean, I think the top two ones I would pick from would be Q Ranger or Q Ranger. Not really sure which one I like more. Q Ranger is some of my all-time favorite Sentai designs, so I would love to just be able to get figures of those, which is what Power Rangers would almost guarantee to happen. Q Major is more recent, so I don't know if they would want to go with that, if they are going to do more Sentai adaptions. But yeah, I think that I'm 50-50 on that. Like before Q Major, I would have definitely said I would want Q Ranger over like Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger, or over Zyuohger or Tokuger or any of those ones we didn't use. But right now I'm tied between Q Ranger or Q Major is ones I would like. And then as if I'll do a updated collection tour, absolutely. I did one a year ago once my room was kind of cleaned up, and the room is a complete disaster again. And next week I am moving out of here to go back to my dorm for the college semester. So I will have a different backdrop and everything, and I'll have like a little mini version of my collection up there. So I'll do a little video about that. But once I get the main room here actually cleaned up, which is going to take a while, then I will definitely do an updated collection tour once everything is how I want it and is actually presentable to be on camera. Why does figure arts? That's what I've always been wondering, for years. Why does figure arts? Who are your top 10 Lightning Collection figures? Do a video on that. So I did kind of answer that earlier in the video, but I definitely will do a video kind of ranking my Lightning Collection figures, or the Lightning Collection figures, probably once we kind of know the whole lineup for 2021, because it's still kind of iffy if we know the whole lineup or not. I don't think we do yet. So once we kind of find out the whole final lineup for the year, I'll probably do some kind of ranking video of all of the 2021 figures, or maybe all the figures we have to date at that point. But I definitely have ideas to do videos like that in the future, so just stay tuned for that. How is your editing schedule like, and how do you balance between daily uploads with work? So my editing schedule usually is basically I just record the video, and then I literally just stand up from here, walk over there, and edit it. So like this video I'm filming right now, right when it's done, I'm going to go edit it and post it. So it's going to be like the day you're seeing this likely is the day that I recorded it as well. With Lightning Storm, I kind of do a very similar thing. I wait until like Saturday morning at like 2 a.m. to record Lightning Storm, just to make sure that it's like as close to the last possible minute for news to randomly drop, because I like Lightning Storm to be as up to date as possible when it comes out on Saturday mornings, or Saturday afternoons, I guess. But I mean, unless it's like a bigger video, where I actually write a script for it and things like that, because like Lightning Storm, I don't write a script for it. I just kind of like write outlines of the stuff I want to talk about. So if it's a video like that where it's scripted, usually I will, write it out, and it will take a couple of days to edit it, or a couple hours to edit it once I just sit down and get going. But yeah, I mean, it depends on the project and everything, and then balancing it between like my work and stuff like that. So I only work during the summers and during like Christmas breaks and stuff in between school. So like right now, I'm finishing up working for the summer at my local grocery store, in which I work the night shift. So I work from like 10 p.m. till about 6 a.m. And then I come home, work on videos, work on the room, work on a bunch of other stuff until about like noon to 2 p.m. And then I sleep again until about 8 p.m. and then wake up again and go back to work. So, which is what I did this morning, and which is what I'm doing tonight. So yeah, that's basically how I do it, and that's it. That's what I do every single day. It's just that pretty much a variation of that exact schedule, which is going to change again next week when I go back up to my dorm. I will stop working, and then I'll actually have more free time, actually, even though I'll be up there on campus. But the videos won't stop there. I'm actually hoping to do some cooler, bigger videos in the fall. So stay tuned for all of that. It's, as much as I can balance it, between, schoolwork, hanging out with my roommates and friends and stuff up there, and things like that. Is there a situation where a Lightning Collection figure releases and you would say no way and skip it completely? I think a lot of people are feeling that way about the Pudgy Pig. The way I would like to answer this question is yes, there is a scenario, but truthfully, probably not. So at this point, I'm so far in, I can't stop. Pudgy Pig should be something that I should say no to. I think that it's important that we let Hasbro know that what happened with that is kind of ridiculous and unprofessional, which I guess a way to do that would be to not buy the figure, but I cannot bring myself to not buy that figure. So I really don't know what the scenario would be. It would have to literally be something that I feasibly in no possible way could actually afford. If my bank account was at negative whatever and I really could not do it, then I guess I would skip it or something. But I don't know. At this point, I own all of them. I either have them all or I have them all on pre-order, and I really don't know what would happen or what they would do that would make me say no. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bought the Spectrum versions. I bought the Wave 7 re-release of Mighty Morphin White. I buy all of it. I don't know. I really don't know what would be the kind of the last straw. I guess I would know it when I see it, and that hasn't yet happened, and I can't think of a scenario that it would. Why do you think Hasbro hasn't given us Bulk and Skull? That is a good question. I think it's a couple of different factors. I think they want to maybe see how well just civilian figures sell, so maybe Andros is kind of a testing ground for things like that. I think they might I think they're kind of trying to work out what version of them that they want to do. Do they want to do their Orange and Purple Ranger suits from the comics? Do they want to do their Season 1 look? Do they want to do their, later on in Mighty Morphin look? Their Junior Police look, Chimps, they could go that route. What they look like in space, or even what they look like in Super Samurai or something. I don't know. I would love to see Bulk and Skull happen. I think that they're definitely figures that are almost a guarantee to happen someday. But it's just one of those interesting things where, they're some of the most important characters in the franchise who, besides that one time in the comics, they're not Rangers. So I think it's definitely an interesting situation for Hasbro to sit down and look at and see how they want to handle it, but I think that eventually they'll figure out some kind of way to do it, and I can't wait for them to do it. Do I think there is any possibility of expanding waves beyond just 4 figures? Personally, I don't think that they would do that. I don't think they've really ever changed wave sizes in Marvel Legends of Star Wars Black Series. I could be wrong. I don't know if they've ever expanded or decreased the amount of figures in those. I don't think we would go less than 4, but I don't necessarily see us going more than 4 ever, which I'm fine with that. I think 4 is a good number. I don't think that they should overwhelm us with figures in a wave, especially with how we get a new wave every 3 or 4 months or so. So I think where it is right now is perfectly good, and I hope that it stays that way, and I don't think that they would change it. And finally, when do you think we will see regular releases of con exclusives? So that is also a good question. We recently saw, or not recently, but we did previously see the Zeo Gold Ranger figure from the 2019 set come out individually in 2020. Hasbro does do that pretty often with their convention exclusives. They do it with Marvel and Star Wars and stuff, where a figure that was previously locked as a convention exclusive will come out in a main line eventually somehow, but just be tweaked a little bit, maybe have less accessories, come in a different type of box or something. And I'm kind of surprised that hasn't happened yet for Armored Red or Lord Draken Evolution 3. I think Armored Red is something that they'll probably revisit first. Maybe they'll give it a corrected helmet or something like that. Draken, I really don't know what you would... I know you would take away from Draken, but the thing I'm 50-50 on is would they keep the cape? Things like that. If they re-released Draken Evolution 3 as a main wave figure, I think Pudgy Pig is definitely going to be one that's locked as a convention exclusive for at least a good amount of time. I don't know. I mean, it's really, who knows? It's not a guarantee that they release convention exclusives later on down the line, which is why it's always just kind of an easier bet to just track them down in their convention form. But it's hard to say. We did get the Zeo Gold re-release, but it was different. It was a Trey of Triforia version and not a Jason Lee Scott version. You got, if you bought both releases, you got different versions of the Power Staff and everything like that, that you couldn't get unless you had the other release. So, if you bought both of them, you had all 3 versions, stuff like that. There's always going to be some kind of difference. You're never going to just get a straight up re-release of a convention exclusive in a main line. But I would like to see it, more of these figures get re-released in some capacity for those who weren't able to get them before. And I would like to just see, since I will more than likely buy their individual releases, what would be different, And yeah, hopefully we see more of that in the future. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this 6,000 subscriber Q&A video. Thank you all to anyone who sent in questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video. It was probably relatively long. And yeah, I'm sure I'll do this again at future subscriber milestones, or I'll do other special things for those. And like I said earlier, thank you all so much for 6,000 subscribers. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Really, really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see where the channel grows. And yeah, that's all I got. So until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. And until then, see you all later. Tokusatsu forever.